Yo.
Nah,
that's what I'm talking about.
I got this old dusty Calvin Johnson shirt. I've had it for 11 years. Leave me alone, mind your business, okay? Calvin Johnson has been here for me through thick and thin, and today he's going to be with me just one more day because the shirt is old. I refuse to throw it away. And if you see some holes up here, just don't worry about it, mind your business.
Well, yes, because tears corrode. You know, I'm just saying for all the Lions years. So come on. Of course, that's why there might be holes in it.
Yep.
But you should have told me. I would have coordinated. I got my Calvin Johnson jersey, somewhere in that way. So, but yeah, it's all good. It's all good. But hey, welcome to another episode, guys. Thanks for being with us. But of course, as we'll continue to say throughout this year, keep pushing towards more wrestling literally every week. And, New Year, at this point, we are currently in the roads to WrestleMania. Pun very much intended, especially with Cody Rhodes on his way.
On our way.
We're
on our way.
Wait, hold on. I'll grab him. Oh! I like that. I like what you did there, Sauce. But over the past couple of weeks, well, obviously there's some stuff going on here. Well, the past week, I should say. We'll obviously build up to the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. And we finally got some information on SmackDown after the fallout from Royal Rumble, which obviously was such a huge, big deal over all sorts of social media and everything in the wrestling world. And it was interesting, right? It was kind of like, okay, so SmackDown happens, Royal Roman Reigns comes out, jibba-jabbing, and then Sami Zayn comes out, just beats him up, spears him, says, okay, I'm going to take what's yours at Elimination Chamber in a singles match. And, obviously we kind of saw that possibly coming, but there were still options of different things happening, Case in point, Jay was not there. It was just, so again, people need to put that on milk cartons now. Where is Jay? Last scene, the Royal Rumble. And you'll get that smarky face he has. Yep.
I want to be here.
Oh my gosh.
My cousin is a dick.
Yeah. So obviously they're setting that up for, that being the main event for the Elimination Chamber, which, we've been, between me and Sauce and a few other people, we've been going back and forth on what they could have been doing for it. I didn't, honestly expect a straight up title match, but we're here. We are. Here we are. And with that being said, they've at this point from this week they've pretty much got it lined up, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. What we did end up watching was some pretty good wrestling through NXT through their Vengeance Day show that happened on this past Saturday. And I'm not gonna lie, I still like the fact that WWE finally for a while started now using names of shows that they no longer used anymore. At least they're using them. Vengeance is of course
Halloween Havoc.
Halloween Havoc, the War Games and everything. It's just great. It's great seeing that. And I know WWE did use the Great American Bash for a little bit. Then they changed it to the Bash, and then that was immediately canceled because that was stupid.
You know what they should do is obviously the main show keeps SummerSlam brand, not to be confused with Summerfest. As who was that one dude that used to, I can't remember that dude who's such a terrible GM, but he was a great USC play-by-play guy. But what they should do is that weekend set up where you still do have SummerSlam, but the NXT does the Great American Bash.
Yeah, see that works. I think that's a great idea, really. And they also utilize like the In Your House name, reuse that name. So yeah, it's nice seeing that, and especially in this case because like the Vengeance Day is obviously like a playoff of like a Valentine's Day, and it's kind of cool because like the only one they ever had was the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, which in hindsight probably they should have named it that based off of a real life event that was the murder of a lot of people, gang related murder. And
that happened like 1,000 years ago.
I know, right? Basically the only thing people remember is that was the debut of the Big Show, Paul White, in the cage match with Austin. Yeah, that was literally what people were. That's it. Like the show itself, but. But anyways, so on this past Saturday, another one of our wrestling brethren had his. He's having a child pretty soon actually, and we were at his diaper party, which was just basically bringing diapers, drinking, eating, and watching wrestling. So that's what we do.
Shout out to the Dumpster Dudley.
Dumpster Dudley, this is for you, buddy. So we ended up watching Vengeance Day. Yep.
Is that a Red Bull?
It is. It's a giant Red Bull.
Jesus.
Yep. I have not drinking this whole thing. I've drank on it all day, so I have not drank it all in one sitting. If that makes sense.
At least it's not in the pitcher.
No, it's not in a pitcher. No, those are all washed. They're downstairs. I don't feel like getting them. But so this show actually was pretty good, especially with the opening match to this show, which was Wes Lee. Current North American champion versus Donovan Dijak, or Dijak as they're going by. And again, I mean, I've watched Dijak for a long time when he was in the Indies. You can't go back and forth, jumping around. But this was definitely that David versus Goliath match. But it ended up being a pretty solid match. What were your thoughts, Sauce? Honestly, because I mean, you don't see these guys too much wrestle, but like we actually were able to see it too, a lot of it. So. So what was your thoughts on that?
Oh, definitely. It was actually a pretty solid match. I think it was a test. It's really a test for both these guys to kind of gauge like how far each guy's going to push. Let's see if Lee, how far, if Lee is going to be that guy. Can he be at least the workhorse for that belt? Because, it's considered a mid-card belt. Can he carry it? Can he carry the ball? And so for how long? And Dijak, I think this is kind of like a test for him to see how the crowd, kind of how they feel, how they gravitate towards him and whatnot. Now he's not part of that stupid group anymore. As I call it, the stupid Rona group.
Right.
It's not Retribution, but I say it was R for Rona. But I think it was just, I think it's really just a test, a gauge to see how both guys how the crowd feels about both guys.
Yeah,
and obviously, this match, match starts off a bit slow, which is, once again, it's WWE style. It's not like, not like other promotions where they like AEW where they like to do a little ADD style from start to finish. But sometimes I do appreciate a good slow start because we want to get the crowd warm the crowd up until we get invested. We don't want to get the crowd all exhausted. But for the most part, as far as this match goes, I thought it was pretty solid. I mean, he got his point across. And then, there's a lot of big spots at the end. You had like it was about to be like a power bomb to her, Karana, and to Frankensteiner.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, that was nuts.
But with that being said, I give it, I'm going to be honest with you, I give it about 2.5 headlocks. Okay. Normally, guys, we would normally have like a little scoreboard thing up here, but it's NXT and I really didn't feel like that.
Yeah, pretty
Maybe
much.
Next time. If I failed the people, I'm sorry.
No, Sauce, you never fail anybody. So
that's a damn lie.
Nah.
But with that being said, I was like, I give it a 2.5. I give it 2.5 headlocks. Like I think it was just a kind of a test of the waters match for both guys in the ring. That's just how I look at it.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I will say, I did appreciate the little bit of a slow start, getting to feel each other out. Because again, it was literally, if you see the size of Dijak compared to Wesley. Wesley's a little guy, little compared to him.
It was literally like, here's Dijak and here's Wesley.
I mean, it was crazy, but they actually worked well together. The reverse of the Hurricanrana. There was, even like the Death Valley driver he did on the outside. Oh, it looked like he destroyed him.
This is you, and this I'm sorry, this is you, and this is guy she tells you not to worry about. That's pretty much all that.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was crazy. And then, I'll tell you right now, my only complaint I had to say, I liked the match. But near the end of the match, at one point, Dijak had the upper hand, got him in basically like a clothesline from hell, which is a great lariat, from the great JBL, and then literally kicks out, and then he gets him with like a kick, just like a massive kick to the face down again, and then at that point you're like, it's over, because he still kicks out. That's definitely the David idea, that David versus Goliath. I now am going to be able to beat you, and I was like, okay, fine, but I really thought it was over. I thought, and maybe they will continue the feud. Maybe we'll see something else happen. I don't know. But I'll tell you, the receipt, though, that Dijak took was crazy. Because at the end of the match, they showed his broken finger. He's like, hey, guys, how you doing? His finger's just completely sideways. And it's like, cool. Hey, I don't think my finger's supposed to look like that. But, but that's why I talked about these guys put their bodies on the line. And, I was talking actually with a girl at the bar last week where she sees wrestling on the TV when we have it on, and she kind of was just asking questions about it, and she asked that question that most non-wrestling fans ask. Well, I mean, isn't it fake? She wasn't rude. She wasn't rude about how sometimes people can be condescending or rude. And I kind of was like, well, do you see that moves are hitting? They're taking those on the mat, and that's just plywood with a little piece of canvas on it. That's all. And then they're hitting, and it's just scripted. Yeah, it's a scripted. It's just like if you watch your reality show. Yeah, there you go. Same thing. Reality shows are pretty much scripted anyways.
or I usually ask them, I'm like, so they're like, it's fake, right? I'm like, oh, the Kardashians have healthy relationships, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. So, she thought it was cool. And at that point, she was like, oh, okay. And then, she, but it was just interesting seeing that, these wrestlers put everything on the line for an opening match to a show to get the opportunity to be seen more, to maybe get up in the line. And that's just how wrestling is. That's how any sports are going to be, You want to make sure. And right now, both these guys, Wesley's doing what he needs to do. And Dijak proved he needs to be up, keep him up on that, in the shows. He's already on NXT, but not main roster yet. But he could definitely be on the main roster for sure. And I'll tell you right now, too, if he comes up to the main roster, people like Karrion Kross need to watch out. Because even though I'm a fan of him, Dijak is a guy that could probably take his spot easily.
Yeah.
Could take his, so that's something to think about for Mr. Cross. I'm just saying, you know, Scarlett, it's okay. I'll take Scarlett off your hands. I'll take Scarlett, and then
while Carrion gets crossed off.
No, that's what I'm talking about. Now that's how we go. Yes, Sauce. That's how we do it. But I'd have to give it a rating of a 3 headlock out of 5 because, like I said, it was just it was real good back and forth. And right at the end there, they made you think honestly Dijak was winning because of those like consecutive hard hitting moves. So, but yeah, I liked it. Great opening match. Great. That's like kind of the old school. That's the mentality. Get something real hot for your crowd, you know. And they did deliver. So, but yeah. So, oh, excuse me. But moving on with the show, they did have the women's tag team championship, which at this point basically has been a stranglehold with Katana Chance, the former Katie Catanzaro, and Caden Carter. All the alliteration kills me, by the way, with the names. It's, you know what I'm saying? There's so many. The cut, and the cut. That's exactly what it is. It's funny. And so they fought off against the girls from Brooks and Briggs and Jensen or whatnot. It's hard not to call them Brooks and Dunn every single time because they're the country group and all that stuff. But yeah, Phil Fallon, Henley, and Kiana James. And I'll tell you, it was it was a pretty good match. It was a pretty good match because it had a little back and forth here and there. They're really pushing more women in these tag teams though because like they have these teams, but they don't have a plethora of them. Like, so they have to kind of like utilize these people. Like Fallon and them weren't really in a tag team, not really. They were kind of like separate, and they're like, but these are our guys, so we're a team now. So
yeah, it's like they just threw them together like 2 weeks before and said, okay, y'all go wrestle for these belts because those two was really doing their own thing before all this.
Yeah. Exactly.
And a guy like me who's not that well versed in NXT, like, it's not a whole lot of teams out there. And hopefully, well, you would have thought that maybe, when NXT UK, when they kind of like, kind of shut it down, it would have said at least a couple of women's teams over there, but not really, I guess. But it's kind of one of those things where it's like in wrestling. You get a legitimate tag team, and you just put them against 2 superstars, and then just all right, there you go. Go out there and do your best.
Yep, do your best. You got it. Got it. Yeah, I got you on that. And then, of course, coming off of that hot opening match, it's a little hard to get continued into that. Like, now you're tired. It's like, okay, all right. Oh, we got this, and I'm not really into it. Okay, so. But yeah, as for a grade, honestly, I'd probably just say a 2 out of 5 would probably be what I would give it.
Yeah, it's about fair. Like, I mean, athletic wise, I mean, it was pretty solid. Like as far as the moves, yeah. So I know I'm doing a little foreshadowing, but there was a lot of. I know this is a pay-per-view. There was a lot of group spots. Mm-hmm. Like off the top rope into like splash into a group of people waiting down below. I know there was quite a bit of those, and it was like at least 1 or 2 of these in this match in itself. Like I said, ladies, they just they showed off. It was wrestling, but it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't enough to like really hold my interest for long. Like as far as storytelling wise, like it happened, it was cool, and yeah, that was about it.
There you go. Yeah, I gotcha. And I mean, we'll see what happens because like they don't need those tag team titles back, like team. But I can see them getting it back, maybe just like a flip flop of the champions. But yeah, honestly, I'd be curious to see what happens with them. But yeah, so moving on with the show, you get the match that was kind of the I don't know, this was kind of like the weird. Like I mean, it's not that these guys aren't great. I just didn't expect to be like this good wrestling wise. But it was so it was Apollo Crews versus Carmelo Hayes, completely full into his heel persona. Like, and it's pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie. His entrance was great. It was his money. Like this guy oozes that kind of like charisma, like that stuff right there. He just needs to just work a little bit more on it, but he could go to the main roster with that, right? He could go to the main roster and work that.
I've been preaching that man's gospel
Mm-hmm.
for the last few months, and they get ready. He actually is getting ready to wrestle J.D. McDonough right now, and J. McDonough I swear this dude looks like a 30-year-old in an 8-year-old's body.
Yeah, he does have that kind of weird,
he has
like
no
that,
shoulders. It's just weird. Watch, it's just weird.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Hold on. It's just I can't. He's actually a really good wrestler. He's just got a weird.
I mean, he's got a weird physique, but the man can wrestle. He can wrestle his butt off.
Yeah.
But yeah, like right now when it comes to Carmelo Hayes, it's like we're watching Killmonger wrestle before our very eyes, and I'm loving it. As far as this match goes, I know a lot of people, they was kind of iffy down this match. For me personally, it's Black History Month, so they automatically get 3.5. The rating is going to be biased, so it's going to be 3.5. I'm giving this a 3.5 headlock. So to all those out there, if you don't like my rating, hey, it's not like a personal problem. But in all fairness, I mean, it was pretty. It was kind of one of those like testing water matches. Once again, to see, how things were going to go between the two. Was it like spectacular? No. Was it Dave Meltzer's, 11 billion stars?
Oh my gosh.
No. But I think this is really a match. This is really a match more for Hayes, because at this point, Apollo Crews at this point, he's just there to enhance talent. That's just what he's there for.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, this match almost even felt like a number one contender match. If you think about it, it really did, like, for the world title. It almost felt that way, even though it was not officially done that way. But yeah, it was. And then again, it was a 2 out of 3 falls match, right? And he wins both matches. Again, something you don't see. Like, you don't see that happen, and you always like to see it, stretched out.
Yeah,
you go to the final. No. But you also saw the return of the former Commander Aziz, who using his as a Dabo Kato name. So it's like, oh crap, hey, you're back. And one of the worst twists ever, too. I'm sorry. Like, he came out and we're like, oh, he's giving him a hug. And you gotta remember that Dabo, this guy is like, what, 6'9", I think, or something. Like, the dude's like
6'12".
Yeah,
but
he looks down on like Strowman and like any of the other big guys. It was crazy.
Like watching the ending, the aftermath where he won the ring. It was like I immediately had Big Show season just written on. It basically just felt like Big season happening before our very own eyes. As far as with the turn, it's like, okay, yeah, Ray Charles saw this coming a mile away.
Right.
But overall, but most people will probably give this star maybe 2.5 or whatnot, or maybe it's they might give it 2.5 or maybe 3. Headlines. For me, it's Black History Month. Let's get 3.5. Damn it, and that's where I stand.
Before we move on with that, we do have. Let's see, we got Pop 'em Off. Always good hearing from you, man. So, thoughts on Mike Jackson wrestling at the age of 70 on Impact Wrestling? So, I mean, it is what it is, right? It's kind of like it is a publicity thing. I mean, I don't really have much thoughts on it. I think it's awesome. It's impressive. People can stay in that good physical peak, like he can have more matches, just not Ric Flair. Like, no more for him. No more for him. See, Rick's going to look at this and be like, well, wait a minute. This guy's going to... Like, no, that does not allow you to go wrestle more.
No. I mean, my thoughts is my dad is about to be 68 years old this year. So, I mean, I can tell my dad, like, listen, don't give up on your dreams. I mean, this guy's 2 years older than you. So, if he can do it, you might be able to do it.
I know, right? My dad's 75, and I say, you look, if Ric Flair was wrestling at 7, you can definitely knock him out. Because he's got a good forearm. See, my dad, this is going off topic just briefly. Back in the day, he liked wrestling, but he hated one wrestler. He didn't like Dusty Rhodes, right? So the American Dream. So it was always a joke growing up that, oh, we got to get you in the ring. We can get you to take him to the pay window, with Dusty Rhodes. And now he's passed away. And my dad jokes and said, well, I got a chance now to beat him, I guess. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Wait, so you telling me that that Papa Love 75?
Yes, he is. He turned
That's
76 this year. Yep.
Yeah, that's what's up. So, folks, if you ever get the honor of meeting Dr. Love's dad, if you want to know what Dr. Love looks like, 40 years from now, it's like looking to the future.
Right here. That is pretty accurate right there. Oh my gosh. But but yeah, it's for my rating for this match. I'd give it just like it was still pretty good, so I'll give it a 3. I'll give it a 3 out of headlocks out of 5. Yeah. Now don't really care about the whole Commander Aziz Dabo Kato thing. I mean, he's gonna be there and he's gonna help out more with Carmella. He doesn't need him. Like he's got Trick Williams, and Trick Williams, as long as he's got him with him, it's gonna be good too. So
listen, if he would, he should have just came out with the spear. I would have had more interest at that point. He should have came out in his Crocodile Dundee outfit that he wore during the whole Nigerian gimmick. And
oh my gosh.
At that point, I would at least kind of cared.
You imagine that though, when you're a big guy, you go into wrestling. You're like, hey, whoever I'm talking to at the moment. So I got this idea. Like I'm a little bit more agile, and I would like to do some cool like big move, but it's like it's different, right? And they're like, nope, choke slam. Wait, it's like no. I got this other great movie. Like it's an awesome move, and like nope, double arm choke slam. It's like no, stop.
Choke slam, double arm choke. Double arm power bomb, headbutt, and what's the other one? Chest slap.
Yep, or a running power slam. You can do that too, or just like a power slam. But yeah, so hopefully that can change. But that's always the big guy's problem when it comes to the big guy wrestling moves. I think the only one that does that stuff different a little bit was Luchasaurus in AEW. I think he's the only one that because he can move more, right? But even then, people like Aziz will tower him. Even tower him. So, oh my gosh, that's funny. But oh man, but moving on with Vengeance Day, we do have the men's tag team championship in a fatal 4-way match, non-elimination match. So it's so it won't be as long. I think in a sense, I think that's why they did this way. They didn't want the match to go on so long. But I was pretty. They've been doing a really good build-up with this with New Day. I know some people were mad that New Day won the belts. I mean, I wasn't. It gave New Day something to do when they knew, again, the tag team titles are hijacked. It gives other tag teams a chance to be on TV. Like you've seen the Viking Raiders a lot more, the Brawling Brutes. You've seen all these other tag team, Los Lotharios. You've seen these teams because New Day hasn't been on there, not really as much because they're in NXT. That's helping everyone involved. So, and their promos with Pretty Deadly have been great. Like Pretty Deadly they're funny. They're funny. That tag team works. And another thing too was in this match you got Chase U, which I'll tell you right now, Chase U is great. But if it's not, but Thea Hale, I think that's her name. The girl that comes out with them, she's the best. She is the friggin' best. She comes out, she's screaming. She's like kind of like Alexa Bliss, because small but muscular, and screams like Daphne. Rest in peace, Daphne. But it in character though, that crazy cheerleader character or like whatever, and and then of course you have Gallus. So. Of course, they're continuing with the support for NXT UK and these guys. And I can't remember, what were we calling that guy? The big package? Wolfgang is the guy's name, believe it or not. Yeah. Yeah, he had some interesting choice of attire that was just like, oh boy, we're seeing a lot of them. But it ended up being a pretty good match, It's always chaotic when you have, that fatal 4-way tag match. Lots of blind tags you don't need to see, crazy tags. But there were some pretty good spots, and the one spot that I thought was crazy because you don't see it is you know, we have a bunch of tag teams, and you're all on the outside of the ring, right? What's one move people do? I'm going to jump over the ropes and do a plancha, or I'm going to jump off the top rope and be like, you know,
cross
they
splash.
actually, yep. They did the same move, except they did a superplex off the top rope outside onto the group, which I'm like, wait a minute.
The dude from Chase U, he flexed old dude,
Yeah, and it's like that's a move you don't see. It was something I've never seen them done. So, you know, more I gave him a hand. I was like, that was a good job. You know, it caught me off guard. But, you know, after the back and forth with the match, it was Gallus that came up with the victory, you know. So again, I'm happy that they're pushing UK people, and New Day. It was good for New Day to hold those belts for they did, but now they don't need to. Now, whether they stay there for a little bit longer and stuff, or bring them back up to the main roster, and we'll go from there. So what would you think about this match, I guess, for a rating or your other thoughts on it, Sauce?
Actually, because I like the pacing, it was actually a pretty fun match. This is definitely getting 3 headlocks for me. Shout out to New Day for as far as doing their thing down there in NXT. Yeah, all the people that's complaining, listen, Charlotte Flair won the NXT belt down there. Dolph Ziggler won NXT belt down there. So at this point, like, they didn't go on these long, gigantic, historic reigns, so they only went on these temporary reigns. So all the people that's complaining, shut up. So with that being said, it was a solid match. Like, who the words of Paul Rudd, who saw Gallus winning? Not me.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
but for the most part, I wasn't mad at the match. I was talking about earlier. It was a lot of basically just jumping into the crowd of wrestlers type spots in there. But once again, these guys, shout out to Pretty Deadly. And once again, I will say it before, I'll say it again. Pretty Deadly is what the Fashion Police was supposed to be if they were given the modern time.
Oh yeah, you're talking like Breezango and whatnot. Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
This is literally them.
Yep,
literally them.
Yep,
like they could have literally, like, hindsight is always 20/20. If they had nothing for them to do on the main roster, they literally could have just told them, all right, y'all go down to Florida and go do your Fashion Police there, and it would have literally been this.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what really sucks, because you have two guys, wrestlers, like talking about Fandango and Tyler Breeze, that had, Tyler Breeze was so over, and then it just didn't work on the main roster. Fandango, his claim to fame was he beat Jericho at WrestleMania, and most ridiculous, like one of the biggest upsets in WrestleMania history. So,
they say upset, but I mean, I saw it coming a mile away, because in WWE, you're not gonna lose your first match.
Yeah. Well, especially if you're at WrestleMania. It's like, hey, you're at WrestleMania. It's like, what? Okay. Yeah. But you're right. They would work so well as that tag team, now. But
like Tyler Breeze, as far as I know, he's not with WWE no more. So,
no. And I think then Dan Fandango just signed with Impact Wrestling, so as a Dirty Dango is what he goes by on anywhere else, basically.
Right. So at that point, why not? I would love to see them two get back together again. Somebody type of promotion and just get back to their Fashion Police gimmick. And I mean, because Tyler Breeze, he does the the up down down with Xavier Woods when they do the GMO.
Yeah.
So I don't think Triple H would really be too pissed. I don't think he would really care too much to see Impact or AEW wrestler on that channel like that. So, I mean, I think Triple H is obviously, he's a lot more different than, old man McMahon. So, but anyway,
I just thought of a match that would absolutely, it doesn't have to be a match or just one, but I don't know if you saw this, because they've been moving some wrestlers around from Raw and SmackDown, just like, quietly, but the Maximum Male Models just moved to Raw, right, from SmackDown. Right. I could just see them coming out doing some stupid promo, looking like whatever, and then you hear Breezango's music come out, and they're like, we've had enough of this. You guys, this is the fashion police here, and I think they would get such a pop for it because they'd come out as a face against them because they're all because people hate them anyway. So it would just ramp them up more, and then just knock them out, and then maybe just knock them out for good, and then they can actually come back to reality. But
I will say though, when Pretty Deadly gets called up to the main roster, will they dress as are they still going to dress as provocative up there as they do the NXT? Probably not so much, but I still think they'll definitely be just as over on the main roster as they are right now. Because right now,
so.
ever since they won gold when they won gold, Worlds Collide, I think the sky's the limit for them right now.
Yep.
Like I think to me personally, Pretty Deadly is the best tag team in NXT right now.
Oh yeah, they're good. They're good. So.
And then once again, you got New Day going down there working with them. And then once again, you got Gallus. Now we're going to see what Gallus does with these belts. So and then Chase U is great. Like right now, they got that loud chick on there right now talking to
Chase U.
Yep.
Chase U.
I was holding up like I was about to do Zoltan, but as far as but Chase U, Chase U kind of reminds. Chase U is kind of like they're kind of like. They give me right. All I can think about is like right to censor when they're obviously not that, but just when they all dress and choreograph together and whatnot.
Yeah,
that's how I see them. But yeah, shout out to Chase U, shout out to Pretty Deadly, shout out to New Day, shout out to Gallus. But overall, this is definitely a 3-headlock worthy match. So
I'd have to agree with you on that, Sauce, for sure.
Yeah.
And it does look like we do have a chat here from Pierre Martinez. Hello, Mafia. Well, hello to you too. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's just us talking about wrestling. So if you have anything you want to talk about, let us know. And we're just talking about right now Vengeance Day show that happened this past Saturday, and then we'll be talking about some build up to the upcoming Elimination Chamber. But moving on with after that great tag team match, we do have the women's triple threat match. And I'm happy about with this is obviously with the whole issue with Mandy Rose, being let go from the company. We don't need to really rehash any of that really, but it's good that they're still continued working with Gigi Dolan and JC Jane from Toxic Attraction, right? It was like that was the first thing people kind of like were thinking of after this big group they have, their heel group, and then now your main person's gone. Are they and they didn't just your guys are done. They didn't just forget about them. They kept them in storyline. They kind of they make sure they're on TV every week, going against Roxanne, co-winning the Battle Royal to then face her in a triple threat, which you could already see the writing on the wall, what was going to happen in the match. Two people from a group try to get the world title, but it still was cool. You had them come out together, because we're going to beat you, against the smiling, happy face Roxanne Perez. And I know how I feel about smiley faces. So
you're not happy to be here today? You're not happy to be here today?
Oh my gosh. Unless you're like a psychopath smiley face like old Mickey James, when she first started, but
you know what I found so crazy? Well, the only thing is those smiling happy to be here gimmicks. They're just annoying because when you grew up watching, black babyface wrestlers, that was like the one gimmick they always gave them. Like, hi, I'm happy to be here. It was like the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah.
And now you see it on these other wrestlers. Like, as far as the NXT champion, she's like, to me, she gives off like green vibes, but she's not really green. But basically, this is somebody that just kind of kind of put the belt on just because. And hopefully, I'm just hoping that this impromptu run, doesn't hurt her in the long run. But with that being said, the match itself, I thought it was actually a pretty solid match. But before I get too far in, I'll say Mr. Martin, Bailey was a good smiling. Yeah, actually Bailey was good. Well, because her character worked.
Yes. Pierre, you actually make up a very good point. Bailey kind of got that gimmick the smiley, the hugger gimmick, the whole side ponytail, like that, like early 90s, late 80s kind of look, the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube
with the
men.
ponytail from the side.
Like it, yes, that worked really well for that character. I will absolutely give you that 110%. She was extremely over, and even in the like NXT, extremely over when she started out on the main roster. Yes, but then it had to change. Like it wasn't working anymore after a while.
Due to terrible booking.
But, yeah, there was some bad booking there. Like they made her world champion so quickly, right? Do you remember that? It was so ridiculous.
Yeah, it was like 2 months before Mania.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. So, when she was the hugger gimmick, I should say, it worked. So yes, not all the smiling gimmicks are bad. It's just a preference for me when I'm saying that. But you're right. That one is a great example of one that worked for sure.
Yeah, and I think the reason why hers worked is because she actually took that gimmick and kind of embraced it. Yeah, I think that's really the main reason. Because most other people, they get that, they almost like they go through the motions and they just say, all right, yeah, all right, guys, yeah, all right, let me wrestle for like 8 minutes and then I'm going to the back.
Yeah, and she definitely kind of looked at like how John Cena, how he changed his character after Word Life. Then he went into, when he was world champion, and then he kind of saw how his impact was with the kids. And I know, look, so here's the thing. You can like wrestling, and you can like the people that like doing stuff for the kids and stuff. We're not jaded wrestling fans that like, I don't like stuff if they just are, pandering to like women and children. Meh. Like, I'm sorry, but how much do you have to hate yourself to not like that? Like, it's crazy. Like, I might not like Super Cena and his hype, but that wasn't anything about that. I was just mad because he buried like the whole Nexus at one match, or he buried, that's different. The booking.
He buried Nexus, the core, you name it.
Yeah,
Ohio Valley. Florida Valley, whatever you want to call it.
So yeah, that's the difference, though. That's the difference on booking. But what Bayley did, when she saw, go back all the way to Hulk Hogan when he was with all the Hulkamaniacs with the kids, and how he realized, look, I gotta go to the kids. I gotta make, and the rest is history. He made it wide mainstream for kids and those people to watch wrestling, so that their parents would watch it, and so on and so forth. So Bayley, using that gimmick, was a good thing. She didn't just, like you said, Sauce, she didn't just go out, have a match, and no interaction. She could have had the exact same great match, but then not interacted with her fans, not interacted with whatever, and then leave. But she actually, and people cared. People really cared about her and her gimmick, and that's why she was so over in NXT and had some great matches there. Yeah. Some really good matches, like with Sasha Banks, one of the best matches I'd seen there.
I was about to get to that too. And I said, I think the one thing that really made her gimmick work was Sasha Banks. Like, Batman needed Joker, Rick Grimes needed Negan and the Governor, and Superman needed Lex Luthor, and Bayley needed Sasha Banks.
Yep, that's a good way to put it.
I know I don't want to, stumble off too far, but I think if hindsight, we're going to call it hindsight booking. With hindsight booking, I think what really would have made Bayley's character, that would have got her still over in the main roster. She could have did something. Obviously, work towards the million of the kids, but what really would have been cool is how she, just her being cheesy over the top. She could have, like, what I would have did was I would have had her do little backstage promos with heel wrestlers. And actually, I would do it with some of the men, mainly the heel men, like have her cut a quick promo at the end, be like, you know what you need? You need a good old hug. And then she just like embrace with the hug, and they just sit there like, oh, get off me. And then she, like I can picture, like, imagine her doing that with like Braun Strowman when he was hot, when he was red hot. She's like, you need a hug. And then she hugs you, like, he look at her like, get off me for a break. You, she's like, okay, I'm
gone. Bye.
Yeah, that'd be. Then she could have just did little stuff like that, and then people would still, like, she would have got over. She still would have got over, with the smart marks. And obviously the kids would think it's hilarious and whatnot. It's just, once again, hindsight booking.
Yep, absolutely. And then one other thing here from Pierre before we'll kind of move on here. And yep, as we kind of mentioned, you are absolutely correct. Kids equal money. And you know what? As I kind of mentioned earlier too, Hulk Hogan realized that. They realized that in a sense, McMahon and them realized that to push them to make, and then that was one of the biggest merchandising runs of all time when it came into WWF, you know, Hogan, and then all the other kind of wrestlers at that point. And then, of course, you kind of keep moving on. And then, you know, WCW, Hogan again, Sting, Goldberg, like just all the stuff, all the advertisements and stuff, what's pushed for. Then, of course, in WWF again, WWE, you know, John Cena. You know, look, it makes sense. It's just, I just don't like people to equate that you can't have a good match if you're just pandering to the kids. Like, it's ridiculous. That's why when I watched wrestling, when Sauce watches wrestling, guess what? We can still have fun watching a 6-star match, you know, which is still really good in New Japan. Then you can also watch a match here that, you know, it can still be really good on its own merit, and people be like, well, it's not the same. It's like, well, you know what? I'm sorry. You jaded, toxic wrestling fandom sometimes. So
go cry in your mom's basement.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. If I had one here, I would have lifted up one of those John Cena towels just to piss people off, just to piss them off. So, but I do actually own. I went to this show in SmackDown back in like 2002 or 2003, and it's the foam knuckles that say "Word Life." Little Word Life foam knuckles. Yep,
that's great.
I do own those. They are here somewhere. So in this labyrinth, but yeah. So Pierre, thanks as always. You know, we love hearing from from people here. But moving on with the show. Excuse me. So we have the women's title match and everything going on, and you know, Gigi Dolan, JC Jane, and versus Roxanne Perez, and it was a pretty good match. You know, obviously you kind of had that feeling of the whole animosity that finally was going to break and does break between, so they start fighting. It ended up still being pretty good back and forth, you know, because I'm just glad that they keep pushing them. They have not. They might be de-pushed now, but I'm curious where the women's division is going to go now, because there really isn't any other top people being pushed right now. So it was still a good match, but it just, you know, pretty predictable. A couple good moves here and there. Look, Roxanne does need to start moving and getting more of a move repertoire. She loves using that flip over power bomb. Like, that's kind of like, and the problem with that flip over power bomb is it takes sometimes too long to set up to have it to work. You know, when you have a Canadian destroyer, it's, you know, 'cause that's, you know, flip over pile driver. That's more like you're jumping into it. You got the momentum working, you hit. When you go for a flip over power bomb, you kind of like hook into it, and then you're like, wait, seesaw, and flip over. It almost looks like you're kind of like, well, we're here. Let's flip over, you know. So sometimes since she's been using it every single match now, I feel like she needs to. That's a move that needs to be pulled out. Like she did it like off the top rope. That was kind of like her new thing in this match. Like, thankfully everyone was okay. I always worry anytime it's off top rope, worry for the head, how they hit the heads, anything like that. But it went good. I just think that she needs to just maybe work on some more move repertoire. Not that her moves were like, they weren't sloppy, they weren't bad or anything. They just work on getting some more into the repertoire, and because you can always learn. You always are learning new stuff. You should be, at least, but that's
well, that's the key. That's the big ingredient. Key ingredient behind every, you know, great wrestler is, you know, the solid repertoire. Like, look at, I go to the top three: Hogan, Rock, and Ric Flair. Were they top tier wrestlers? No. Were they upper tier wrestlers? No. Were they mid tier? Probably. But they had a solid move set. They knew how to work the crowd, and basically it was their charisma that basically what people they cater to. and because even Ric Flair said it himself. I want to say it might have been on the ESPN when they did that big ESPN 30 for 30 film. And he said it himself, he was like, it's the charisma, that gets you over. He was like, listen, my moves, all I do is just punches and headlocks and holds. He was like, it's the charm that I have that, that gets me over. So
yep.
I think eventually, it's kind of one of those things where he's like, you throw trial by fire. So either Roxanne go sink or swim. But I will say with this match, this is probably a 2 headlock match for me. But I will say the highlight of this match is Gigi Dolan. Like, she was the one that really stood out the most for me. Yeah, you can tell like she could be maybe not now, but maybe not too long from now. Maybe might be able to move into that top heel, the top female heel spot. And it might leave JC Jane in the dust, but hey, it is what it is. But yeah, Gigi right now is that was my big highlight of as far as that match.
I'd have to agree with you, especially for Gigi moving forward as a top. She could move into that top spot, I think, and then you already have a built-in kind of feud there with JC Jane, and so that would work. That would work, and she's very easy on the eyes. I'll tell you that for sure. I'm a fan of hers for sure.
I'll say you can't miss the orange hair.
Yes, among other things, but but so I'd have to say for my rating, I'd say I have to get like a 2 headlocks and a Ric Flair chop for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, because they did, like I said, they had the good story. Like every time you would see the faces of JC Jane and Gigi, they were very animated. The camera work's doing great to catch that for us on TV. But they have to be because of the people there watching it. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes if you look at it on TV and you think that maybe they're like, I've acted before. I've done a lot of different shows on the stage and whatever. Mm-hmm. And what they always tell you to do is, especially in some shows, you have to kind of make sure you're overacting, but you're not, Well, the reason why, so they can see it, so you can see it more. And that's why you're at the show, you need to be able to see it more when you're farther up and you're away from the ring. On TV, we're going to see it. They got cameras, they're zoomed in on them. But you could definitely tell from everything from Gigi and JC, like how they were telling the story with just their facial reactions, how angry and mad, upset that I hit you, and that's good. And it works. So we'll see what they continue this, and they probably will, because obviously they're going to be pushing towards what do they call it? Is it takeover or stand and deliver? Yeah. That's the WrestleMania one, I believe, for NXT. Yeah. So obviously they're going to be pushing towards that, and they're going to have a women's title match. So whatever from now till then, something's going to be set up, but we don't know yet. So we'll have to see on that. But then we have the main event of Vengeance Day, which again is the rematch where you have NXT champion Braun Breaker versus Grayson Waller in a cage match, but with a unique stipulation that you cannot escape the cage to win. You have to get a pinfall or submission inside the cage. So at that point, you're kind of like, so it's like a Hell in a Cell. Okay.
With no top on it.
With no top. Oh, and smaller because it's a cage. Yeah. So, it's like I appreciate the fact that you couldn't win by going out the door, because that is a big pet peeve of mine. But then it's like, but why do that? What doesn't make any sense? I will say right off the bat, we've talked about him before, but Grayson Waller, this guy, he's money, man. I think he's money. His personality, he does ooze charisma, and talk about trolling too. Coming out with the chain mail, and he came out the chain mail through the back door, with the golden shoe. What kind of shoe was that? Was that a Nike or was that some other brand shoe? I couldn't tell.
I want to say it was a Nike shoe.
Okay, but it was a golden brand shoe. That's his whole gimmick. He drinks out but he had the chainmail on, so of course you can't not laugh about it, because some people will take that like, oh, he's like a knight, because he's got she's like, nah. That's not what he's doing it for. It's off a Big Papa Pump, baby, with the badass chainmail. And so it was pretty cool seeing that. So again, right off that, you got that. Oh, and another funny thing about that too. So every show, it seems that Braun Breaker has to, break something on his way to the ring. Well, he didn't have anything to break really, so he just kind of got through the already broken set thing. I'm like, I don't have anything to break anymore. It's like you've broken everything. I half expected that cage to break. I half expected him to break the door off the cage or something, you know what I'm saying? Or part of it would have a false lock and pop off or something. I don't know. He speared through it and like how Bobby Lashley did before in that cage match he was in or whatever. So I don't know. I half expected it, but it is what it is. I thought it was a good match, though. Thought there was some pretty good spots in there. Obviously, Grayson Waller playing kind of the little chicken shit heel for a while, which it works for his character. It does. He runs away up the cage because he can't win. He's just run away from Braun. So, but there were some unique moves there. A couple. We were talking about it earlier. He did that one move where it was like the blockbuster with the kill switch together into a move. It was a very unique move. I was like, what was this? But I like it. It's something different. And, I don't know. I feel like this was Grayson's time to win. I don't know. Yep. I feel like Braun Breaker doesn't need this belt any longer. And of course, then he just wins with a spear, by the way, right? Like all this stuff happens, moves, and then spear. It's over. It's like, Like before he used to spear and then do his a power slam move, right? But now it's just been like, well, I'm just gonna spear you. It's like, okay, Goldberg. Even Goldberg did the jackhammer too. I'm just saying.
And every once in a while he'll do some type of concussion kick too.
Yeah, he did. He would randomly do that, right? He would do this weird ass backside kick or something. Yeah, he was. Yeah. That's a whole nother day for that, but yeah, I just think that right now, Braun Breaker doesn't need this belt. So if they're setting up Braun Breaker to defend the title at Stand and Deliver WrestleMania weekend, who do you think?
Carmelo Hayes.
Carmelo Hayes. Okay.
I've been saying this the last couple months. The man, he didn't walk away with the North Atlantic Championship, but at this point,
you're right. You're right. It's North
point,
American.
He's going. Well, Hayes, they putting him on this heel run right now. As far as I guess the next month or so to see how over he can get with this crowd. I mean, the dude doesn't miss. At this point, Braun Breaker, Mania weekend. This man, please let this man drop the belt. Hell, if you got to even if you got to put in a situation where you put a triple threat where Braun doesn't get pinned and he loses the belt, I'm fine with it. It's just at this point, we just need to move on because it's getting to the point now where Braun. I was talking to a buddy of mine earlier, talking to a coworker. I said the problem with Braun now is you're putting him into a John Cena situation where it's getting to the point now where it's like he can't have a storyline without gold. And that's going to hurt him. And we already saw what happened with Cena. And I think that was really one of the biggest gripes I think people had with Cena, besides, burying, the whole roster. But the fact that it seemed like with Cena, dude it's like they just wouldn't let him, have a feud without some type of gold on the line. And this is what they're doing with Braun Breaker. Yeah. And I'm afraid that if they keep going with this, it's going to get to a point where people are going to go get so sick and tired of him. And then when he gets up to the main roster, then it's going to get to the point where, people up there, they're going to have to figure out, they're going to have to turn him heel or whatever. Because then he's going to get the Austin Theory I would say the McMahon Austin Theory treatment. When he goes to the main roster, he'll be like, oh yeah, well, we didn't care for him down here. We'll make we don't care for him up here. So yeah. So at this point, I think by Mania, he's got to come off the belt. And as far as this match go, it was entertaining, but once again, it's getting 2 headlocks for me because it was like the cage didn't need to be there. The cage served no purpose, and it was just one of those things where it was like, once again, I guess Grayson Waller seemed like Grayson was we all was hoping, we was all wishing, that this man would walk away with gold, but apparently, no. I'll say, Braun Super Senior Breaker, once again, it's just like, it's just kind of like him winning, just kind of soured it. Now, let's say if Grayson Waller did win it, that match could have easily turned from a 2 headlock to an easy 3.5 headlock match. But because the outcomes like that, sometimes the outcome can just sour the whole match, and that's pretty much how I feel.
That's definitely true. That's happened. That's happened more times than we can count. I'll tell you that for sure. But
Charlotte.
Oh my God! Liv versus Shayna Baszler. Liv more Shayna Baszler. All right. But yeah, I would say I'd say I'd have to give it like 2.5. 2.5 headlocks. But for the same reasons you're saying, like it was still okay, but. Grayson needs his chance, but you know what? I can already see this too. Like you made a good point about the triple threat match. You want to make it so Braun doesn't look weak in the loss, and make him lose in a triple threat, right? That would be your best bet, to have happen. And you could even, if you want to keep pushing Grayson Waller, you can keep pushing him till because that's April 1st. It's already was it February? Or 10th or whatever, or 9th or whatever. We're almost there. So I'm like, whatever day it is in February.
Yeah.
We're close. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be a stretch to do that because right now you have to have your plans. There has to be the plans in motion for WrestleMania weekend for Stand and Deliver. So triple threat match makes the most sense, especially if you want the belt off of him. And then guess what? Belt goes off him, and on Monday Night Raw or something, Braun Breaker shows up. Yep. There you go.
He shows up
on the main roster.
And then he shows up somehow with the NXT belt still on him. We don't know how, but it's just,
He's like, we saw you lose it. It's like, ha, ha, ha. That was a magic trick.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh.
That's the thing. Like, when I'm in a match, I have a 33% chance of walking out of the match 100% of the time with the belt still champion. It's like, what? Steiner
math. Do it.
Yep.
Hey, still makes more sense than Common Core math. Just saying.
Yeah.
Definitely. But yeah. So so that was the Vengeance Day. Basically, in a nutshell, pretty good show. Had some high points, had some points. I personally, overall, I'd have to give it like overall like 2.5. 2.5. Yeah.
Yeah, 2.5 is about fair.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's what I'd say. Oh, but it was a good show. It's still entertaining. It was entertaining, but still, it was more so like you said, just the fact that. It's sad to see some predictable type outcomes, especially with Grayson Waller. So,
right.
Yeah. But, yep. But let's see. We do have another chat here. Looks like it's from Enya. Enya, Weed Black.
I know who that is. What's happening, Captain? Appreciate you for taking 5 seconds out of your day to say what's up. Appreciate it. Like I say, he's not, he's a casual wrestling fan, and we welcome those too. So shout out to you.
Thank you very much for chatting with us. So as always,
mm-hmm.
But yeah, so again, the show pretty good. But as we know, wrestling never stands still. So we keep moving forward, and we keep moving forward. But before, so we're just gonna, briefly kind of touch upon what's been announced for Elimination Chamber. Next week, we'll kind of go in more in depth about what are more of our big thoughts for everything. But one other thing to say that I know me and Sauce are very excited about was announced today that Detroit gets the WWE SummerSlam on August of this year. So it
Listen.
was heavily rumored, but
Yes.
it's official today.
Listen, Lions won a game, and we about to get SummerSlam. Let's go!
Let's go. I'm very excited. The first time SummerSlam's been here in Detroit since '93. First time show's been at Ford Field since in 2007, WrestleMania 23. So it's exciting. You know, ever since back in December when we first started hearing the rumblings about it, you know, the rumors. But
so
it's official.
With that, yep. I will say, I've been to Mania. I've been to Mania.
Survivor Series.
I've been to Survivor Series. I've been to Royal Rumble. All that's left.
There we go. Sauce needs the big four, baby.
Just four. That's all that's left, baby.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited, and it's like week before my birthday, so
yeah, it's like 4 days. Yeah, it's like 4 days before mine, so it's like a little bit after yours too. So it's like birthday gift for us.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah.
Oh God, we were absorbing. We're absorbing. But yeah, it'll be birthday gifts for all of us. Be like, hey, that's all I want for my birthday. But yeah, it's good. We're gonna have a good entourage for it, but it's gonna be a good show. I'm excited that they finally announced it. Honestly, that's really what I want to find out.
Yeah, and kind of makes it because I know you probably I'm guessing not gonna go to the Elimination Chamber in too much to detail, which kind of makes me wish I didn't. I wish I could go back and change the thumbnail to Vengeance Day, but hey, we'll just do Elimination Chamber thumbnail part 2. Let's go.
Oh yeah, no, we're still going to talk about Elimination Chamber just now. Oh yeah, I just said we weren't going to like talk super in depth about it. Like next week we're going to do a little bit more and some of the old matches from Elimination Chamber too. You know, that's what I figured. But yeah, so it's very relevant. Trust me, it is. So, but yeah, so Sauce does pretty much all of our thumbnails and does a great job for it. Just saying. So, but yeah, so with that being said, Elimination Chamber, at the top of the show, we were just talking about how official now it's Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns, and it's going to be interesting. You know, it's already announced with Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, but anything could still happen. The belts could still be split before then. He still can wrestle both shows, both nights. Sami Zayn could still beat him for a belt here. He could win in a way to where he should have won, and they will say, well, you know, they could change up the stipulation. I don't know. You know, there's a lot of different ways they could do this. The one thing that honestly cannot happen is Roman Reigns can't beat Sami clean. That's all. If he beats him clean, just clean beats him, and then there's like nothing else that happens, like then it's be a waste. It'd be all a waste. I feel.
Yeah, but I agree.
But we'll talk, like I said, more like about all that stuff. But that's, you know, since that just kind of got shown on SmackDown, and you know, Jay's obviously still not around. Jay, hello. No. But so the one thing they did confirm though this week is the members that will be in the women's Elimination Chamber. That's the winner will then go on to face Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. So that is Raquel Rodriguez, Liv Morgan, Nikki Cross, Asuka, Natalya, and the returning Carmella. So, you know, people could say whatever they want about that. I'm happy to see her back. She hasn't been there in 7 months. I'm excited that Asuka's in the match personally, and Raquel Rodriguez. I think so.
Not only is Carmella back, but she's back to her original gimmick.
Yes.
Which she won her championship with.
Yes, that's important. She's back with the Mella's money gimmick. Yeah. You know, she's not like that. Remember the face mask, where she had the face mask on. Yeah. She was like the model, like that. That didn't work. That was dumb.
Or basically, or you got to the point where they was trying to turn her to another Mandy Rose, which is weird because even though I think Carmella, no, I think Mandy's been there. Well, whatever. But anyway, yeah, they basically was turning to Mandy Rose 2.0. They just kept trying to rebrand her. It's like, listen, she was fine the way she was, Vince. But now
Right.
the old fart ain't here no more. So now Papa H, he's giving us old Mella's money. I'm here for it. I know Corey Graves is here for it too.
He definitely is for it. And it's on a side note about Carmella. She's actually in a slight Twitter beef, which I hate. Also, I hate that term because it's just annoying. But it's more funny because her whole thing was Mella's money, right? That was her whole thing that she's now doing again. Well, Carmelo Hayes is doing Melo's money. Like that's he's doing that in NXT. So she basically kind of ripped on him saying, hey, how about you steal someone else's gimmick? And then she said how you irrelevant or something. Like back like just this little sniping, which most of the time, like, look, it's just for show, but it was kind of funny because like you said, like she's back to that original gimmick for her. And but yeah, so I'm all for it. But what's gonna be good though about this match is that all of these people, pretty much, no one's fought Bianca, right? Like Nikki Cross, I think, has fought her like in one match, but mostly like a tag match or like a 3-on-3 women's match.
Right.
Asuka obviously was like on her side for all those times. Remember before Asuka, so now you got basically her fighting someone brand new for at WrestleMania for this,
Right.
and she's gonna have to lose the belt. I feel like that's just me. I know she doesn't need the belt any longer.
She's keeping that belt to Mania, Doc.
Well, no, she is because I mean the winner of this match goes on to Mania to face her. Bianca.
Duh.
Yeah, you're like she's got
My bad, y'all.
I'll bet
you know what caught me off guard. I was watching Raw, and then all the women was out there, and then Bianca came out there and cut a little promo, and I wasn't really paying too much attention to what she was saying. And in my head, I'm thinking like she's in the chat. My bad, y'all. Getting ahead of myself.
It's like I bet she'll keep it to WrestleMania. I feel like she's oh wait, crap. But yeah, so it could be anybody. Liv Morgan could have more success over on Raw working after doing all the stuff on SmackDown. Raquel Rodriguez, if they really wanted to push her and make her into that heel anti-hero. Asuka, I would be all completely down for that because with her original kind of like heelish gimmick. Natalya, she's a veteran. She's been there. She's going to help them put over. She's not going to win. Carmella, though? Carmella might.
She works there sometimes.
She really? I know. Exactly.
And then what really annoys me about Natalya is like she is a wrestling machine. She's great at wrestling, but she, as a character, she sucks.
Yep.
As a heel or a face, she makes it. As a heel or a baby face, she makes the same stupid face. She just sits there with this stupid smile on her face. The only smile I hate more than hers is Mr. Beast. And shout out to him, for what he's done out here in the world as far as his recent thing.
Absolutely, yes.
I have no personal vendetta against him. I just hate his stupid smile, and it's just like how I am with Natalya. Like she, like as a heel, like she just always smile. I'm like, well, are you a face or a heel? What are you at this point?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Like, listen, at this point, she basically just become a shell of her former self. At this point, she might as well be Cater in the heart and then go from there.
Right.
But anyway, you go ahead, Doc. I'm done.
Oh yeah. Like I said, moving on with so then you have the U.S. Championship, first time ever defended in the Elimination Chamber. Austin Theory, champion, versus Damian Priest, Montez Ford, Johnny Gargano, Seth Rollins, and Bronson Reed. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm really hyped for this, but because we kind of talked about it a little bit last week about how Montez Ford, maybe this is his time to start getting pushed as a singles wrestler. At least seeing what he can do as a singles wrestler, and this is going to be it. Gargano's going to be in there to help other people look good. Nothing against Johnny wrestling, but I don't see him winning that title. I don't see him even being. I just see him helping out. Seth Rollins, of course, he's Seth. He's great.
I think Johnny Gargano. I think it seems like ever since he left NXT, he just mentally checked himself out of wrestling in general. Yeah, and it's like even though Triple H is in charge, and a lot of have more faith in him than the old geezer. But like, I just see Johnny, Johnny G, and I'll just look at him. And a lot of times, it's get to the point where I almost forget he works there until I see him on TV.
Yep. I don't disagree with that. So, but I am happy to see that Bronson Reed's in it. The return Bronson Reed's, because he's looked great since he's came back. So, but it really just depends on what they want to do with Austin Theory going into WrestleMania. There's big heavy rumors that he's going to face John Cena in some kind of like a one-off match. Whether it's for the U.S. title or it's not. At that point, don't be for the title, for God's sake. Cena wouldn't want that. We're at this point. Have a new champion win. Have someone win it here. Now you've got time to build up to WrestleMania. Do a triple threat match. Do a ladder match. Bring the ladder match back there, because they had the great, obviously Money in the Bank matches. They had great ladder matches at WrestleMania. The opening one with IC title where Zack Ryder, won it. That was great. Like, I can already see that happening. It'd be a way to be like all these guys, and some of them, hey, I need something to do, because I think that would, in my opinion, I think that's the best way to book it. But I don't know. Yeah. But I'm just happy to see some of these different guys in there. So that's a good thing. Then, of course, they're the whole thing they're doing with Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar, which now looks like it's going to be happening at Elimination Chamber. Their third and probably final match they're going to have together.
I'm going to say this right now. So I don't know if we're getting our prediction now, or we're going to make the folks wait till next week.
You're going to wait till next week.
Yeah. I will say this, though. I'm going to just say I feel like this match isn't really going to happen. That's all I'm going to say. Okay.
So you think it's just going to be kind of like beat up before the ring, or out in the back, or like a brawl?
Maybe.
Or okay.
Hey, right. I'll tell the kids next week exactly.
All right. Looks like you're going to have to wait till next week, guys. And then the other match that was just announced on yesterday on Monday Night Raw, we'll have an intergender match where Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley, which more Rhea, I'm fine with that. I have no issue. And this actually kind of, in my favor, this works better than having having an Edge Finn Balor match. I think this just because I think with AJ Styles getting injured, that kind of threw some monkey wrench and everything. Yeah. Like, not because he was going to be like for the world title or anything, but it was just like, well, we wanted to maybe build out this feud with them. He gets injured. Edge isn't back yet. So let's, have this little one-off match here. And there we go. And then, if there's going to be anything else at WrestleMania, then that'll be whatever. But this will be kind of a fun little match here. Dominic's going to be still setting up his stuff. Most likely, I think, Rey Mysterio might come in on the match to help on side.
He's definitely going to show up.
And then, of course, Dominic, what? You want some? You got WrestleMania.
To get their stuff set up for Mania.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, so basically from that, that's kind of like, again, the short kind of preview for it, but we'll definitely go in depth next week with most of our predictions and what we think is going to happen. But it does look like it's shaping up to be a pretty good show in Montreal. So, Kevin Owens will be there. Not even a question. And Sami Zayn, crowd's going to be ridiculous. Hot. I mean, that crowd's going to be so hot for him. That's why
it's going to be clean. It's going to be. Wait, hold on. Get my stupid hand up. It's going to be nuclear, like that. Like
I thought we were. touching
like a little sign for our little podcast we do every Tuesday at 8:30. Yeah, that's right. How hot the crowd's going to be.
I'm not gonna lie.
They're going to be nuclear heat wave hot.
I thought we were touching fingers. I'm not gonna lie. I thought we were like, wait, yep. Wait, here we go. There we go. We will get this one day. One day we will make sure we're on the right sides here. So, but yeah, so we love our wrestling, and of course we love hearing from you guys. But we also have to let you know about our Heat of the Week, who, again, another good week of wrestling. And but Sauce, who do you guys heat of the week?
It's technically wrestling related because it's on the platform. But my heat of the week right now, I would actually say my heat of the week is probably Dr. Love over here because y'all can't see this, but he's definitely not feeling well, and he's feeling bad. And yeah, he's giving y'all almost an hour and a half of his energy. As soon as we're done, he's probably going to pass out in that chair. So,
well, I appreciate that.
So shout out to you, Doc.
I appreciate that. Yes, I'm a little under the weather, but hey, it's going to take a lot more than that to stop me from talking with you guys about wrestling and with this guy right here, my brother from another mother. So,
listen, what you need is some good old Dayquil with honey. They sell it at Target.
All right. I wish I could just grab that right now. I'm like,
hold on. Just get your get your Red Bull out. I can pour some in there for you.
All right.
Red Bull. You get the Red Bull.
There you go.
There you go. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
But they have the Quill and NyQuil. Listen, and they both have honey. It's so magical. You do not understand. They finally make some Dayquil that doesn't taste like trash.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to get that for sure then.
Target. That's the only place I can find it.
Oh, okay. All right. I will just have to make mosey on down there. So, but I do appreciate that. Thank you. As for my heat of the week, I definitely just we had some good wrestling this past week. How they're setting up for a lot of different things. I don't know. It's if I just because we just watched the show with Vengeance Day and everything, I'm gonna have to give it to for Donovan Dijak. Honestly, I thought that opening match. It was such a hot match. I thought he did good. Thought some big moves there. Broke his finger. For God's sake. They were like, he dislocated. I'm like, well, he did, but it really looked a little more broken to me. But that's I'm not a bone expert or anything, but
you're not a boneologist.
I'm not a boneologist. That's yep. So I do not have bonitis. I know that.
Sorry if that response made you feel boned.
Nah. Yep. Pretty much. Oh man, but yeah. So that's who I would have to go with. I think he'll be pushed really far if he keeps healthy. Just wrap the hand up. That's fine. He can still wrestle. Just wrap his fingers together like that. He's good. He can wrestle. But yeah. So that was that's pretty much it. We had a good week here, and again, just keep pushing towards the road to WrestleMania. Especially after Elimination Chamber, you're going to see a lot of the stuff starting to shape up for WrestleMania. I believe they're trying to set up Seth Rollins, Logan Paul. I believe that's kind of been wrote down right now that they want that to happen. Which, I mean, based on as long as they're healthy, that would be a great match. They would pull out all stops on that one. And honestly, I don't know who'd win. That's definitely going to be like I don't know who'd win because I could see Seth Rollins going over. I could see him letting him go over because of him. So they have, and of course, whatever's going to happen with the tag team belts, both the Raw and SmackDown. But we'll wait and see. But as always, we do appreciate all the guys, guys and gals that watch our show and comments with us. Just two Michigan boys love talking about wrestling. And but if you don't got anything else, Sauce, I think we're gonna head out of here for the night and just make sure, like I said, next week, Tuesday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, we'll be talking about the elimination, going more in depth on the matches and then our predictions and everything. So, but as always, I'm Dr. Love, and this right here, Sauce Bronson. Can't do it without him.
Listen, y'all, don't let him lie to y'all. He can do. Don't let him lie. He's so good. He can clearly do this. Don't let him lie. On that note, listen, y'all be safe. Y'all be well. And most importantly, y'all be good.